Hi guys, welcome back to my series Agile Development 101. Last time we did some visual stubbing and some CSS styling for my shipment. So this is where we ended last time. This video we're gonna do we're gonna replace the stub with real data, and which means we have to do a couple of these things. First thing is to check the subscription to the data. Is the data on the client? I have a feeling that it's already on the client, so let me check my code to see how I'm subscribing to this branch publication. Okay, so right now I'm doing a bit of a, how do I want to say this? A not very efficient, like a not scalable approach to client-side data. But probably I should fix this all at once rather than trying to fix a little bit now or a little bit later. So the question is, do I want to fix it all right now? And the answer is no, because I only have about 10 minutes to do this video. So what I'm going to do is just make sure that we add shipments to the client at the same place where everything else gets loaded. I think. Or did I delete this? I think I've deleted it from the... I think I used to have something called shipments, now I don't have it anymore. So I actually need to create a folder for shipments. And I will need to create a shipments collection. And I'm just going to copy the code from another, oops. So what does this do? This is, Mongo is the database, and it's basically saying there is something like a table. In Mongo terminology, it's the collection. So there's a collection called shipments. And this is an export, so if I import it into another file, then I get access to that table. And there's no description of that table. You could store just about anything inside it in any form. So now I'm going to say in my client-side data initial load, include that collection. So it's looking into that file I just created and pulling out, it's importing shipments. And then I'm going to add that. You know, this code is actually pretty ugly. I think there's a much better way to do this, but okay. So now all my shipments should be on the client. Right now there are no shipments, but if there was a shipment, it would be on the client whenever the user is logged in. Yeah, because it's checking, is the user logged in? Okay, so I have the subscription, so that part's done. Adjust reactive component to display shipments. Well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense until we have some placeholder, some sample data. So I don't have a means of creating a shipment in my application. So what I'm going to do is connect directly to the database, and I'm going to insert a shipment, like with some really basic information, dummy information. Okay, so db for database.shipments, which is the collection, insert. I'm going to insert one called so I need to insert some. I'll just insert one with nothing in it. Okay, so now if I do find, oops. Oh, it looks like there are some shipments in here. Okay, from an old version. So let's remove all those. There were 81 shipments. And then let's insert the blank one. And then this is the one I just inserted. You know, I have some, okay. Yeah, so the database inserts things with an object ID. That's not exactly what I want. I want just a string, and I have to remember how to do this. I think I have it in my code somewhere else. So I'm going to look up how to do this. ID, yeah, okay. So I want to insert ID. I'm going to copy this code, object ID dot string. Yeah, that's great. But now I have 2 in there. I should remove all of them. There. Now I have one where the ID, which is kind of like the primary key in SQL, where it's just a string, which is what my application is used to dealing with. Okay, so I have some sample data, sort of. There's nothing in it, but at least there is a sample shipment. Okay, I have the subscription. Now I can adjust my React component, which is my shipment list item, to display as shipment. Okay, so this data is actually not done now that I think about it. I have a shipment, that's great, but it is not connected to a quote. So if I look at my quotes, I have all these quotes, but none of them has a shipment. So what I should do is attach a shipment to a quote. So let's use this quote. Here's the ID of the quote. And I'm going to say db.quotes.update. ID is that. Actually, let's just find it first to make sure that I got the right one. Yep. Okay, so then let's update it. And we will use, we're going to set one of the values. Which value we're going to set? We're going to set shipment to be the ID of our shipment. So let's find that ID. Oh. Where are you? Oh, I don't have it. Okay. So let's open another database session so I don't have to remove that one. db.shipments.find. Okay, so there's my ID. I copy that, and then, so what is it going to do? It's going to look for a quote with this ID, and then it's going to perform this operation, which is to set the value of shipment to this. Okay, so it's done that. Now, back to my customer, I have this quote. Right now, it doesn't care if there's a shipment or not on the quote. It just displays this thing, shipment, no matter what. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the logic to only display this thing if the value of shipment is there. This is not the final logic, but this is some intermediate logic. Quote list item. So I'm going to put, I got to find, so it is quote dot shipment question mark, and then so if yes, then display this thing. Otherwise, display nothing, null. Okay, so I delete this and then save. And then this should restart. And then I should only have this shipment for the top quote. All the other ones should disappear. And again, this is pretty slow. There we go. Because I'm recording the video. The frame rate is also quite low. Let's close this thing. There we go. So you can see now there's only a shipment listed if the value of shipment is filled in. So you can see how this step by step I'm getting to what I want. And so and this whole Agile, breaking things down into releases, breaking the releases down into sprints, breaking the sprints down into product backlog items, breaking the product backlog items down into tasks, and then proactively identifying different tasks and breaking those down. It's all about getting to these like tiny bite-sized pieces of work. So things that you could do in 5 minutes or less. So, nothing I've shown you has been more than like a couple of lines of code, and really simple lines of code, in fact. And when you have complex tasks that are broken down into simple steps, then they're simple to execute and simple to create. I don't think there is any programming project which can't be broken down into steps like this. That's why lines of code are executed one at a time, because they should be written and tested one at a time. Okay, so looking at this, I have part of the logic in place. So I added sample data. I adjusted it to display shipments, display placeholder field data for shipment line item. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is something called refactoring. Refactoring is when you take functional code and write it in a more readable way or a more easily testable way. And the thing that I want to refactor is having this shipment embedded in the quote. What I would rather do is reference another object, so this, right now I'm in a file called quote list item, and I want it to, if I'm doing a logical separation of concerns, then I want quote list item to be only about quote list items. I don't want it to be about shipments. So anything about a shipment should be in another file, and therefore I can just reference that file within the quote list item. So I want to replace this with a component called shipment list item, which I haven't created yet, which will hold this plus whatever other enhancements I do. So I need to create a new file, and that file will be under UI and list items. So you can see quote list item, I've been working on that. That's why it's a different color. And I'll create a new one called shipment. Well, is it a list item? I guess it is a list item. It's kind of like an add-on to a list item, but I'll call it a list item. There's something to think about for naming consistency. Okay. And this is a React component, so I have to say import React from React, and export const shipment list item. So basically I'm saying there's a function called shipment list item, which you can call from somewhere else. And what does it do? It returns this, and that should be in parentheses. Yep. And I don't need these things. Yep. Okay. Then I want to reference it. So I want to get rid of this guy, but I will need to import my shipment list item from somewhere. Import. Actually, I should say, so I want this to be a default. This is a bit of a code styling issue, but I want to say export default. There. Then I can say import shipment list item from okay. So I've imported it, and then I want to reference it in here. Okay. Great. Then I can make this code a little bit more compact, which is not always the best thing to do, but for some simple logic like this, I think it is the best for readability. So when I save, what should happen is absolutely nothing should change. And if something changes, it means I made a mistake. So wait for this to restart, and then it should look exactly the same, because all I've done is replaced the component with a reference to the component. Oh man, it's much slower when I'm recording video. Okay, we started. But it's important, so it's important that I check my work. Even though nothing is supposed to happen, I should check that nothing happens so that I can find out if I made a mistake and I can correct it earlier. The earlier you find out about a mistake, the earlier you can correct it. Right, so I've refactored this out, and I think that's enough for this video. In the next video, we will add some placeholder data fields and some styling for active and inactive shipments, which probably requires some more test data. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.